Welcome to Turn to Your Doom. It is a choose your own adventure podcast where we explore the many paths and meet the many ends of our many books. With me today is someone who is just tired of helping all these gall dang unicorns. Art.
Hi. I make sure that they feel safe and stuff because there's so many couples being like, "Hey, we're looking for a third, only if you're a woman."
I knew.
And it's just, it's just, just because they're bi doesn't mean they're not it doesn't mean they're sluts.
Yeah.
We're not sluts.
Yeah.
If I could be one, I would, but I can't be because I'm bad at it. So. I respect sluts too much to call myself one.
I was reminded. This reminds me, which I also remembered the other day, one of my favorite stories from Reddit, which is this woman who accidentally became a unicorn in a poly couples relationship, and because she started dating both of them separately and didn't realize that they were married until 5 months in.
I guess that's a better way of becoming a unicorn than just
Well, and even then, the couple still wanted to date her, separately from one another.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyways.
That's fine.
We're gonna be reading The Rescue of the Unicorns. This is the third book in Deborah Lerme Goodman's, unicorn series, from the Choose Your Own Adventure books. We have loved them so far. They are unhinged, and the protagonist is just this crazy teenage girl. So The Rescue of the Unicorn, after this, there's only one more, which is The Flight of the Unicorn, which I dread to read one day, and then we will have no more unicorns. They will cease to exist.
We're gonna have to. We're getting close to the last unicorn. It's
and then we have to read The Last Unicorn by
oh no,
Peter Spiegel. A very nice man, by the way. I've met him. But yeah, shall we get started? Shall we learn what new adventures await us? Sure. New unicorn themed adventures await us.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so. You knew your ride to Bruges wouldn't be luxurious, but it's not even comfortable. Each bump along the way jostles your spine. You are nestled between sacks of potatoes and carrots in a horse-drawn wagon, heading for the city market. As you ride, you clutch your unicorn-embroidered handkerchief. You think of your best friend Wyatt's, about to sail off for adventure and opportunities. Meanwhile, you will be left behind in Flanders. At least you can say goodbye and see him before he sails. When you finally reach Bruges, all you can do is gaze at the towering belfry. It's twice as tall as any tree. Turning your head in another direction, you see the most enormous church you have ever seen. Not only that, there are hundreds of people, some of them speaking languages you can't understand. This place is so exciting. The part of you feels like you're never going back to your small village and tiny farm. As we've discussed, I hope so, because her village fucking sucks.
Yeah, I was about to say I hope so. It sucks so much.
We famously hate everybody in her village. They all suck. Anyways.
They suck so hard.
It's market day, and you'd like to browse. Instead, you make your way to the docks and boats of all sizes that line the waterfront. Bags, barrels, and boxes are being loaded onto the boats. You stop to watch some men struggle to load heavy rolls of woolen cloth. Suddenly, off to the right, you notice a crowd. You wander over and squeeze through the people to find an iron-barred cage. There seems to be a small white horse inside. When you reach your hand through the bars to touch its flank, the animal turns its head towards you. You gasp with astonishment. It's not a horse. It's a unicorn. Now,
what?
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck. It's this easy? We had 2 books looking for her.
We just found one in a cage. In a city. Now, in 1510, it's been several years since anyone in your life in Flanders has seen a unicorn. and many people have started to wonder if any remain. Yet, here is one, woefully caged, about to be carried onto a boat and away from Flanders. The unicorn slowly lowers its head towards you, and its sky-blue eyes meet your own. You shiver as a silvery tear fills the unicorn's eye and rolls down its cheek. Your heart is pounding. How dare anyone cage a unicorn? How dare they take it away from its home? You say out loud. Watch out, you! Yells a burly man with a team behind him. 4 men lift the cage and hoist it onto the ship. Of course, this isn't the first time you've seen a unicorn. It's been 3 years, but not only have you rescued an injured unicorn, you've even led a unicorn to your village to purify the well. With all the unicorn adventures you've had, you feel a deep responsibility to rescue the unicorn. But what about Wyatt's, waiting for you by the boat that will carry him off to sea? You really need to say goodbye to him. If you decide to sneak aboard the ship, go on to the next page. If you turn away sadly and try to find Wyatt's, turn to page 8.
I like the idea of completely abandoning my friend. That the only reason why I'm at the dock to potentially die. So let's go that way.
Okay, so we decide to sneak aboard.
Yeah, of course.
I love it. You see a line of carts filled with cargo to be loaded. You slowly stroll past until you spot a sack that's not completely full. When no one is looking, you scramble into the sack and find yourself surrounded by onions. Good thing you're small. Before you know it, the sack is hoisted on board. Careful with those onions, they're not rocks, you hear. And the sack is placed, not dropped, onto the deck. The onions feel scratchy against your face, and you inhale bits of dust with every breath. You don't dare wriggle around to find more comfortable position because a moving sack of onions would certainly catch people's attention. Someone drags you below deck, and you feel the rocking of the waves. You've never been on a boat before. It's frustrating not to see everything as you feel the boat begin to move forward. After what feels like months, it's probably only hours, you hear snores. As quietly as you can, you wiggle out of the sack. The hold of the ship is almost as dark as inside of the sack. You have to use your hands to feel your way past the crates and barrels to reach the soft and silvery light. Your hand touches an iron bar, and you find the unicorn sleeping in its cage. The unicorn seems to glow like the moon. Reaching your hand into the cage, you gently stroke the unicorn's silvery mane. It sighs and flutters open its eyes. I'll rescue you, you whisper, even though you have no idea how. The unicorn turns its eyes to meet yours, and sigh again. You slowly slide your hand up the unicorn's horn, and the horn seems to glow more brightly with your touch. You are determined to save this unicorn. You feel around the cage to find the door. Your hand touches a latch, but there's a large padlock on the cage door. Rescue is going to be more difficult than you expected. Don't worry, I'll find the key before we land, you promise the unicorn. You reach through the bars and put your arm around the unicorn's neck and curl up beside the cage. You feel so content that you can't help drifting into sleep. Your dreams are full of unicorns. You are abruptly awakened when a sailor shakes your shoulder and asks, "What are you doing here?"
Of course. You'd get caught almost immediately.
I'm here to rescue the unicorn, you reply. The sailor laughs, slapping his thighs, as if it were the funniest thing he's heard in a week. You are you? You feel a bit embarrassed now, but take a deep breath. Yes, a unicorn should be in a cage, and that unicorn shouldn't be taken from Flanders. He laughs again. You know, this unicorn is going to have a very happy life in Scotland. You know perfectly well there are hardly any unicorn in Flanders anymore. But in Scotland, people say they're as common as cats. If they are as common as cats, you ask, why do you need our unicorn? Well now, don't you think a Flemish unicorn is bound to be the best? You hadn't considered that. Seriously, from what I've been told...
Okay, I have questions. Okay, 2 things. If they're as common as cats in Scotland, I may not be like an economist, which why would I be? They sound awful. But would it there being as many unicorns as cats lower the value of a unicorn to the point where they're not special?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love cats, and every single one of them is special to me, but there are a lot of fucking cats. Like, I don't have to go that far, and I can find 3 more cats. Besides the one that...
Yeah, like...
like, besides the cat that I entrapped in my home and has Stockholm Syndrome to love me, besides that one, like, I can find multiple cats just walking down the street.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know exactly where to go, and I can get free cats.
Yeah, like, I could get so many free cats if I just, took some churu with me on walks. Like,
yeah.
I feel like there'd be unicorns everywhere. Because people would want a unicorn.
You just have to, in Scotland, you just have to step outside your door and shake the treat container, and all the unicorns show up.
But yeah, whatever. I just feel like... Also, why is the one from Flemish be, like, more... Like, is there intrinsically more value on... Wait, okay, let me
It's the morphology of a unicorn in Scotland different from that in Flanders?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Yeah, like, is there something inherently different from Flemish unicorns?
Yeah.
Than Scottish ones?
Like, are the breed standards different?
Yeah. How inbred are the unicorns in Scotland?
Yeah, like how orcas have like genetically distinct groups based on where they are geographically. Like, apparently around New Zealand, there's like a super inbred population of orcas, and they look so weird compared to like other just normal orcas.
But what if they're like New York rats, where they're ones from from uptown, downtown?
Oh yeah, uptown rat.
Yeah, like what if they're like that? Like what if they're just like, well, we want a unicorn that's less uppity,
yeah,
or something.
Yeah, or like how like black labs in Europe have like blockier heads than black labs in the U.S. based on breed standards. Because
the Europeans are awful.
They just they like their dogs' heads to be shaped like a brick, apparently.
Europeans are just like, I want this dog to run into a window and it breaks.
It's so true. My uncle had a black lab like that, and he was very inbred, and he was very dumb. He did not have what we like to call this smart bump on his head.
Yeah.
His head was so boxy shaped. God damn.
Okay, no, that whole exchange about why this unicorn is
just opens so many doors.
Like,
it raises so many questions. And we have no answers. God. Okay. Seriously, from what I've been told, this unicorn is going to a great lord with a unicorn collection. It will be with others of its kind. You must think very lonely by itself in Flanders, don't you think? That's been another thing you hadn't considered. You spend the rest of the voyage contemplating the situation and learning a bit of Scottish from some sailors. To earn your keep, you mop the deck and clean the living quarters. You spend every free moment at the side of the unicorn. In fact, that's where you sleep. One day, you were cleaning the captain's quarters when you notice a beautifully inlaid box about the size of a loaf of bread. It looks like something a rich woman might keep jewelry in. But there's no fancy dress on the voyage. You can't resist a peek. Inside, there is nothing but a silver key. Almost nothing is locked on the ship, not even the door to the captain's own room. You quickly pocket the key. That night, you slip the key into the lock on the unicorn's cage. With the slightest jiggle, the padlock slides open. You secure the lock again and return the key to your pocket. This could be useful. Don't worry, you whisper to the unicorn. We're staying together no matter what. As the ship approaches Edinburgh, you have to make a decision. It's true that the unicorn really might be happier with other unicorns, but on the other hand, it's Flemish unicorn that belongs in Flanders. Who knows if it will enjoy being in a herd of Scottish unicorns? If you decide to... Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you finish. I have more questions.
What if they speak different dialects?
Okay, finish the thing, and then I need to talk about multiple things.
If you decide to stay with the unicorn as it is brought to the castle, turn to page 33. If you decide to rescue the unicorn now and try to take it back to Flanders, turn to page 38.
Okay. Give me the first option one more time.
If you decide to stay with the unicorn as it is brought to the castle.
Okay. So, let's stay with the unicorn. So we'll do that option. But I would like to ask a couple questions.
Uh-huh.
Why does no one think about just hitting the padlock with something hard?
That's a good question. But also, I don't... Actually, no. It would not be out of character for her to think that she could break open a giant iron padlock.
Because, maybe it's just because, I watch, the Lockpick Lawyer and stuff like that, but, and other people, but, you can break a padlock with another padlock.
It's true.
And that's, the stuff today that is, precision machined and stuff like that. The old locks, you could definitely just hit it really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay, so we decide to stay with the unicorn as it's brought to the castle. When the boat reaches Edinburgh, you disembark, waving goodbye to the crew. You watch the caged unicorn...
Sorry, what? Real quick, are you trying to say Edinburgh? Or...
Oh, it's spelled different. But I think it is supposed to be Edinburgh. It's spelled like Edinburgh, but it's B-U-R-G-H. No, there's no O with the U.
Oh, okay, because I'm just what do you... I know your accent isn't that fucked up.
No.
It's only with A's.
No, it literally... Yeah, at least I'm not saying Edinburgh.
Yeah, I was just wondering the entire time.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
I'm not sure. Maybe it is Edinburgh. There's just no O, which is throwing me off.
Okay.
When the boat reaches Edinburgh, you would disembark, waving goodbye to the crew. You watch the caged unicorn as it is carried off the boat, and it is lifted into the horse-drawn wagon. The unicorn looks skittish, and you feel uneasy yourself, not knowing what will happen. The wagon starts moving, and you walk behind. Luckily, the wagon is going slowly, so it's possible for you to keep up. But after a few hours, you are exhausted. By the time the wagon reaches the castle, you are weak with hunger and your feet are aching. The arrival of the unicorn has caused so much excitement that no one pays attention to you. You watch the unicorn being released from the cage and follow it to a large fenced paddock. You rub your eyes in astonishment. There are at least 10 unicorns prancing around. Their coats are almost radiant, and their horns are glowing. The Flemish unicorn is led into the paddock. You can see it is much worse. It is in much worse health than the Scottish unicorns, but the sight of the other unicorns causes it to perk up. You lean against the fence and watch the Flemish unicorn eat and drink until it is full. Then the unicorn comes over to you, and you stroke its mane consolingly. You feel so connected to this unicorn that you know you can't leave it. The unicorns seem to be taken care of very well, but the unicorns are very independent creatures, and even in this comfortable life you can tell they are prisoners. Your unicorn gives you another nervous look. Maybe you should watch and see more about what life here is like for the unicorn, or maybe you should see the Flemish unicorn, or maybe you should free the Flemish unicorn right away. If you want to stay with these unicorns, turn to page 39. If you want to help the Flemish unicorn escape, turn to page 41.
Okay, so you stay with these unicorns. Are you just leaving the Flemish one alone for a while? Or
no, the Flemish unicorn is in with the other unicorns, so you'd be observing to see how they're treated. And if they're as miserable as the Flemish unicorn.
Let's see how they're doing. Because I don't understand why you wouldn't do that in the first place.
Okay. The stable master notices you, caressing the blue-eyed unicorn, and says something to you, but you can't understand. He hands you a brush and gestures towards the unicorn's tangled mane. When the mane is clean and shining, you start brushing the unicorn's flanks. You braid its tail. By the time you're done, the unicorn looks a lot better, but still not as lustrous as the Scottish unicorns. The voyage was certainly hard on the poor unicorn. When the stable master comes to inspect your work, he nods his head with approval and motions for you to follow him. In the stable, he shows you to a corner piled with hay. He hands you a blanket, a cup, and a bowl, and it seems you have a job. Every day you groom the Flemish unicorn. Every day you groom the Flemish unicorn first, and every day it seems healthier than the day before. Its blue eyes shine and its coat becomes more radiant. You take care of the other unicorns too, and before long it's easy for you to tell them apart. One has pale gray freckles on its nose. Another has a silver streak in its mane. Most of them have sparkling black eyes, but one is green-eyed. There is an especially frisky little one, and another with an unusually pearly horn. You don't know this, but all the workers at the castle start to call you Little Unicorn, because they don't know your name. You spend so much time with the unicorns that sometimes you feel like you've become one yourself. It's the best job you could have ever imagined.
Oh, no.
The
You're
end.
turning into a horse girl?
She's been a horse girl.
Well, but like, it's just like, I feel like I'm one. I feel like I'm becoming one. I must walk along with them.
Meh. Alright, so that was an ending. You live your life taking care of the unicorns.
Okay. I feel like that's not an indictment on the people.
Yeah. Okay, the other option was to try and save the Flemish unicorn, or get it out of there, basically. You know you'll have to wait until night to try to free the Flemish unicorn, so you go to the stable and hide yourself in a pile of hay. Trying to ignore the gnawing pangs of hunger in your stomach, you do your best to nap. After several hours, you hear the unicorns being let in. You fall back asleep to the sound of 12 unicorns breathing. The next sound awakens you as the stable master snoring. You hadn't guessed he would sleep in the stable too. Will it be possible to get the unicorn out without waking him? Or should you wait until he leaves, even though you won't have the cover of darkness? If you decide to try and rescue the unicorn now, turn to page 59. If you think it would be better to wait until daytime, when the unicorns will be outside, turn to page 61.
Let's take a risk and do it. Actually, both are a risk. Do it in the middle of the day, when everyone's awake.
So we
can
could,
just see
yeah, our option is to do it now, at night, or during the
let's
day.
do it at night.
Okay.
Let's do it at night.
So right now, that is page 59. You decide you must take your chances right now to rescue the unicorn. As quietly as you can, you push your way out of the pile of hay and unlatch the nearest stall. It's too dark to check the eye color of the unicorns, but you know the Scottish ones are all in much better shape. You quietly enter the stall until you find one unicorn with a rougher coat and matted mane. The unicorn is sleeping, something else you hadn't counted on, so first you have to gently wake it up. You stroke its mane and whisper in its ear, "Get up! Get up! You're going to be free!" The unicorn slowly blinks its eyes open, snorts, and then closes them again. You little shit. "Unicorn, it's me," you whisper. The unicorn seems to recognize your voice. It opens its eyes and lifts its head. "Come, let's go." You guide the unicorn past the other stalls, and hold your breath as you pass the sleeping stable master. The stable door is bolted shut. As you slide it open, it squeaks. The stable master immediately sits up, looks around, and sees you. Before you can even get the door open, he's grabbed you and is furiously shouting. You end up in the castle dungeon. Stealing a unicorn, especially a blue-eyed one imported from Flanders, is a very serious crime. Never see a unicorn again. In fact, you never see daylight again. The end.
You know, I mean, I know we're taking risks and everything, but we're not getting out of the risks.
No.
Maybe let's go back and.
Okay. So if we try to do this during the day, you return to the pile of hay. You try to go back to sleep, but all you can think about are the ways to free unicorns. You remain hidden when the stable master awakes. He and 3 stable boys lead the unicorns out of their stalls and back into the fenced paddock. You hear them cleaning out the stalls. After a while, you have no idea how long, but it feels like forever. You hear a bell ringing, and the stable boys and master abruptly leave the area. Now is your chance. You scramble out of the hay pile, run out of the stable, and fling open the gate to the paddock where the unicorns are grazing. Nothing happens. They don't even look up from the grass. Little shits. Ah! You look for the blue-eyed unicorn and climb on its back. Come on, you say, digging your heels into its flanks. Let's go! As you ride towards the gate, the other unicorns lift their heads to watch. A few animals amble over and follow you. You beckon the others. They are much more relaxed about their escape than you would like, but there's nothing you can do about it. You can't rescue all of them, so what happens next will depend on what the unicorns choose to do. At least if they are outside of the paddock, they will cause a distraction. Finally, when all the unicorns are wandering freely outside the paddock, you grab the unicorn's mane and slap its neck lightly while squeezing your heels into its flanks. It's time to gallop. The unicorn's not even breathing heavily when you hear the thunder of hooves. Turning, you see a pack of running dogs, followed by dozens of men on horses galloping up the path behind you. You know you can't outrun them. Still galloping, you look around. There's a river to your right. You can't swim, but maybe the unicorn can. To your surprise, the unicorn doesn't cross the river, but rather continues galloping in it, because the water isn't that deep. Water splashes all around you. The wet mane is slippery, and it's all you can do to continue holding on. When you look up, your heart stops. The river is flowing into a waterfall. I have to go to the very end of the book. There we go.
I was wondering why was this like...
Yeah, it suddenly goes from page 63 to 125.
Okay, yeah, that would do it.
Yeah. Stop, stop, you shout, but the unicorn continues straight towards the edge above the waterfall. You squeeze your eyes shut and hold your breath as you feel yourself plunging into the air. You land at the base of the waterfall with an enormous splash. You are both drenched, but still alive. You are shaking, wet hair out of your face when the unicorn starts running again. Glancing back, you see the men and dogs clambering above the waterfall. It doesn't look like they will give up the chase so easily. You are going to need a place to hide. In the distance, you see what looks like a huge pile of stones. You steer the unicorn out of the river and towards the fallen stones of what you now see is once grand castle. You climb down and lead the unicorn inside. The roof is gone, has long since collapsed, but you could make out where rooms and hallways once stood. Suddenly, you notice the birds. The place is filled with long-legged white birds. Sort of like herons, but not exactly. They are preening their feathers, pecking the ground, and sipping from puddles, completely unconcerned by your arrival. You hear barking as the dogs approach. The birds freeze and then start flapping their wings furiously. They tilt their heads towards the sky and make scary, screeching cries. Strangely, the birds don't fly. They just continue to beat their wings and screech. You climb on the remains of the wall to see what is happening outside. The dogs have stopped running and are cowering. The men are covering their ears with their hands, and the horses are neighing nervously. When you look back, you see small wings are emerging from the unicorn's back. As you climb on the unicorn, watching in amazement as its wings grow larger, the birds are still squawking. When you start to fly, but then in one great swoosh of flapping feathers, the birds are soaring around you. You look down on the ruins, the glistening river, and further away, the castle where you spent that night. You feel momentarily dizzy, but then you know what to do. You locate the sun in the eastern sky and turn to the south. It may take a while, but you and the unicorn are flying back home to Flanders. The end.
How are you flying again?
The unicorn sprouted wings.
What is this? Twilight Sparkle? Okay, cool. Or Twilight whatever.
Shut up,
Twilight
she's
Sprinkle?
an alicorn.
Yeah, okay, what is a flying unicorn then?
It's an alicorn.
Yeah, it's a Twilight Sparkle. She was a unicorn that sprouted wings. Or, yeah. So, yeah, well, whatever. I would like to complain a little bit.
Okay.
We're not getting those big swings that I've been liking
I know.
from the other ones.
There are 3 distinct paths. And I believe we've ended up on the shorter of the 3.
Yeah, because, we're not getting those big swings. Even on the shorter paths on the first 2, we got some, we jumped into a purple
Tornado. Yeah.
Tornado, and we got to describe our own deaths, to ourselves.
Oh my
dying.
gosh, yes. When we exploded.
Yeah. Like we're not getting the oomph that I want. We're probably going to get it, don't get me wrong. But
yeah.
It's not coming out of the bat. It's not coming off coming out like just swinging.
Yeah.
Like the other ones.
I'm pretty confident that the other side of the book is going to be more, have more of that. Okay, so we're going to go back, all the way back to, we had the option on the boat after we found the key to either stay with the unicorn or to try and rescue it then. We decided to stay.
Let's try to rescue it.
So if we try to rescue it right then,
Okay, wait, sorry. I'm just thinking. I have a couple other questions.
Okay,
so we have an alicorn.
yes,
now.
We do indeed.
So it sounded like it took a while to sail to Scotland.
Yeah.
How do alicorns need to land? Are they albatross? Are they part albatross?
I don't know.
Like, does its magic propel it? Like, are you going to starve because it's flying for, I'm going to assume, at least a few days?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to, is there any island you can stop at?
I assume so.
I don't know.
I would also think, the path to... You could take, a path over land.
I guess. Yeah, I guess they wouldn't really have ways to get you down. Even with, a long bow.
Yeah.
You'd still, if you get high enough, it's just gonna fall.
Yeah.
When it gets to you.
And you could definitely, outfly them in terms of distance. They wouldn't be able to catch up with you even if you land for, a night or something like that.
Okay, I can believe it now that I talked about it. I was just I just thought you were flying over open ocean. For 3 days. I'm just what are you gonna do? Fly up, is she gonna poke her head into a cloud and drink water that way?
Yeah, you figured it out. Her clever plan.
Wait, I don't know if anyone asked this question before. I'm gonna type in, can you drink a cloud? Drink a cloud, and I wonder, I can't be the only person. What happens if you try to swallow a whole cloud? What? Okay, so apparently a fluffy cloud the size of a house contains about 1 liter of liquid water, or 2 large glasses, which is about the volume a human stomach could hold. So, technically, she could just drink a cloud, an entire cloud the size of a house.
Well then.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Now I want to drink a cloud. Give me a cloud to drink.
Gimme.
Give me a cloud. I'm gonna drink it.
Just go to your closest astronomical lab and be like, "Hey, I want to drink a cloud." And they're like, "Okay." Okay, so if we decide back then to just save the unicorn right then on the boat when we have the key. The boat docks. While the sailors are busy tying the ship and getting ready to unload it, you unlock the cage, jump on the unicorn's back, and gallop down the ramp. You hear outright shouts behind you, but you don't even look. You nudge the unicorn's flanks with your heels and hold onto its mane as you race out of town into the countryside. You know people will be looking for you, and it's only a matter of time before they will catch up to you. Not only that, the unicorn is panting. You can see that it's been locked in a cage during the voyage has taken its toll on its health. You spot a barn up ahead, and you think about hiding in there for a while. On the other hand, maybe you should get off the road and go into the forest. If you decide to see if the barn is a safe place to hide, turn to page 42. If you decide to head into the forest, turn to page 44.
I mean, the forest would make it harder, and also, isn't that the natural environment for a unicorn?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's go to the forest.
Okay. You lead the unicorn off the road into the forest. There's no path, so you wander without direction. It's getting dark, and you start feeling anxious. You need a protected place to sleep, and you're worried about the unicorn's health. Just then, you come upon a strange creature lying on the ground. It's somewhat like a man, but it's larger and only has one eye in the center of its forehead. Protruding from its chest is one hairy arm, and he has only one leg. His one eye blinks, and he smiles at you warmly. He waves you over.
I know about this creature. It's a creature that only has one of everything, and it gets real angry. It just chases after you really quickly by hopping on its one foot.
Oh.
I did an episode talking about of creepy critters when I was doing that.
Ooh.
About this creature. Like, it was part of a, omnibus episode. Mm-hmm. When I was doing those. But I know about this creature.
Ooh. You feel sorry for the creature and wonder how he even moves. Has he been enchanted by a terrible spell? You know the unicorn horns can purify many things, but it seems very possible that the touch of the unicorn horn might release this poor creature from its horrible fate. Yet, what if this giant is more dangerous than he looks? If you decide to see if the touch of the unicorn's horn can restore his humanity, turn to page 65. If you think it's safer to leave the creature behind, turn to page 67.
Let's be nice and try to gore it with the unicorn horn. I'm sure that would wake him up.
Yeah.
Just run a unicorn horn directly into its one arm.
Yeah, you got it. So, with a heart full of compassion, you guide the unicorn's head so its horn can touch the one-eyed giant. You can feel the unicorn is shaking, and its eyes bulge with panic. The tip of the unicorn horn barely grazes the one-eyed monster's head before the unicorn flings its head back. Nothing happens, except the unicorn is stepping away. The giant crawls towards you, and now you know you've got to get away. You quickly lead the unicorn away from the one-eyed giant. The two of you hurry through the forest for a while before the trees dwindle, and you are back in the open air. The sun is just rising, and even you're tired. You admire the rosy light of the vast sky. The earth around you is lush green, and the ground is boggy, and water oozes around your feet. The sun is halfway up the sky when suddenly the unicorn's ears twitch up and it pauses. But then the unicorn starts galloping away. You have no idea what's happened, but you have to run and catch up. When you see it in the distance, a herd of about a dozen unicorns grazing in a meadow. The unicorn races to them, and you dismount. The unicorns caress their heads against each other, and you could swear the unicorn is smiling. Its horn is starting to glow. The unicorns all ignore you. You have never seen the Flemish unicorn this happy. As much as you want to bring the unicorn back to Flanders, you can tell that it is delighted to be with the others. Maybe it belongs here with the Scottish unicorns, not alone in Flanders. You wave goodbye to the unicorn, but it doesn't even notice. You're heading back to the harbor so you can find a way back to Flanders, where you, after all, do belong. The end.
This ending reminds me a lot like whenever I get a dog and I go to the dog park and I see how happy it is, I just leave it at the dog park.
This is like that episode of Pokemon.
Yes. It's like, hey, look, Pikachu, there's a bunch of Pikachus on this island. You wanna... No.
Actually, it's more like the one with Butterfree, where the Butterfree does indeed stay with the other Butterfree.
Where the Butterfree gets horny for another Butterfree that happens to be pink.
Me too. I see another woman wearing pink, and I'm like, oh boy. Here we go.
Yeah.
I see another woman, and I go, oh boy, here we go.
Oh boy. Well, what? Is that just... Where are the big swings?
I know, right?
Where are we getting the big swings?
So, like I said, we're on the short side of the paths.
Okay. Well, let's get the short side done.
Yeah. So, if we go with the other option and we leave the creature alone, you start to walk away when the monster suddenly wraps its one arm around your ankle and drags you towards it. More quickly than you can imagine, the giant twists himself around you in a matter of minutes, and you're gasping because you can't expand your lungs to breathe. You start seeing spots, but between the spots you see the unicorn's head coming closer. Everything is black. You feel something. The unicorn's horn? gently touch your forehead. When you open your eyes, the first thing you notice is that you can breathe. You scramble onto your feet and immediately notice that you have 4 of them. You look down and see 4 white legs with hooves. You shake your head with disbelief and feel the weight of something protruding from the top of your head. You try to move your hands and feel what it is, but you don't have arms anymore. What? The unicorn moves towards you and caresses your head with its own. Unicorn's 4 legs look exactly like your 4 legs. It's going to be all right, the unicorn tells you. I'll teach you how to be a unicorn. Now let's go. Without even looking at the giant, the 2 of you prance through the forest.
I'll teach you how to be a unicorn. You just need to reply to those posts that says, hey, this is just a picture of my wife. We're looking for a third to spice up our marriage.
I like how the unicorn's way to fix things when you're being strangled by a monster is, what if I turn them into a unicorn?
What if that's just its only defense that it has?
That's all it knows. That's like that's the one unicorn spell it knows.
It's like the one, I think it's like Fossilies or something, but it's that one demon from the Lesser Keys of Solomon that does like 3 things. It teaches you about astronomy, periods, and turns you into a bird. That's the 3 things it does.
Yep.
So, you get turned into a bird, but you know a lot about menstruation and astronomy.
Oh yeah, and it can't turn you back.
No, it says nothing about turning you back. So
no, it only knows how to turn you into a bird. Oh boy. Okay, so we're gonna go back to if we decided to go to the barn that we saw up ahead when we were fleeing from the boat, or if we wanted to go in the forest. We went into the forest, so we'll go to the barn instead. You slow down and climb off the unicorn. You peer into the barn. There's a lot of hay, but no sign of animals or people. As soon as you enter the barn, the unicorn starts munching on hay, and you wish you had something to eat. You've only been inside a few minutes when you hear someone whistling as they approach. You and the unicorn dive into a pile of hay and wait. A boy enters...
Raggy.
I know, I was thinking that too. Like a really cartoony. A boy enters the barn, whistling cheerfully. You can't see much, but you can tell he is wearing what appears to be green moss. Is that what people in Scotland wear, you wonder? You watch him beckon towards the open door, and a flock of swallows swoops into the barn. They dart around the barn and finally settle among the rafters. Meanwhile, the hay is making your nose itch, and you try to hold your breath, but it's no use. You sneeze. Your sneeze blows the hay away from your face entirely, and the boy looks right at you. Why are you hiding? He asks in a calm voice. You lead the unicorn out of the hay and tell him your whole story. He listens, then says, "You must be hungry. Let me bring you some food." The boy returns with some bread, cheese, and a flask of water. He sits down beside you while you eat. You must be very careful around here, he warns you. Besides ordinary dangers like wolves, there's also kelpies, river spirits that turn into black horses and drown people. There's a one-eyed giant named Fashion, and an evil goblin named Redcap. You're welcome to stay in this barn tonight, and I can lead you to a safe path tomorrow. You and the unicorn nestle back into the hay. As you are falling asleep, you wonder, why did he speak to you in Flemish? How did he know you were Flemish before you told him? Is the boy magical himself? Protecting the unicorn matters above all else. What if the boy's magic can't be trusted? If you
real quick, did you just say Kelpie or Selkie?
Kelpie.
Kelpie. Okay, because I was just like, a Selkie? Like, what's it going to be? It's going to be a hot person? Yeah. It's going to be a hot person with a coat? Cool. Wow, yeah. So scary.
Oh my god, no, a Kelpie. The Kelpie, horse, no. The horse that drowns you.
Kelpies.
Horses are bad enough. It's Poseidon's wet dream. A horse that also drowns you.
It's also sticky. It's just a sticky horse.
Oh, that's right.
Ugh. God. And it eats everything except for your lungs and heart.
Rude.
If I remember.
Eat all of
eat the lungs and heart. I know. Don't eat my skeleton and not eat my... I'd rather you eat my lung and heart than eat my skeleton.
You'll eat like the most disgusting of my organs, but not my heart and lungs? Rude. Anyways, so we have two choices. We can stay until morning, or we can decide to leave while it's still dark.
Let's stay until morning.
Okay.
Also, if you could look to see if we're going to come up to an ending soon.
Oh, yeah, no, I believe this is pretty much the end of our...
Of this?
Yeah.
Because we could try to finish up this short path. It sounds like we don't have that much left.
No, we don't. Yeah, these are both endings, so...
Okay.
So we decide to stay until morning. When you wake up the next morning, the swallows are starting to sing. The boy is already in the barn holding a piece of cheese. "Good morning," he says brightly. "I have some food for you, but you'll need to go to the river for water." "Sure," you say. "I'm really thirsty, and the unicorn must be too." The unicorn's blue eyes seem a little dull, and its coat has lost some luster. "The river is just down the path," says the boy. "Here, take a bucket. When you get back, we can work out a plan for you to get back to Flanders."
Here, get on my back while I go down. Get on my back, and then it turns into a horse.
Oh, fuck.
And then you and the unicorn got on its back too quickly.
I like the idea of the unicorn getting on another horse's back. The Kelpie's like, "I wasn't trained for this."
I don't know what to do with a horse. I don't eat horses.
Gross.
But you're stuck. I don't know what to do with you.
Fuck. Sure, you say. Oh, right. "The river is just down the path," says the boy. "Here, take a bucket." Okay, we read that. You nibble the cheese, and as you lead the unicorn along a path through the pasture. The morning sun glistens on dewdrops. The sheep graze on the green grass. You approach the river. You see a girl about your age, splashing water into her arms. You call out "hello" in Scottish, and she waves you over. You do your best to speak to her, but she doesn't say a word back. She smiles at you, and she continues playing in the water. Is it possible she's deaf? You and the unicorn are both thirsty, so you crouch down to drink water from the river. The girl has waded deeper in, and gestures for you to join her. The water isn't...
Oh no, don't do that.
The water isn't...
Sorry.
The water isn't too cold, and feels great on your tired feet, so you do. Soon the two of you are splashing each other and laughing, while the unicorn stands on the bank watching. The girl gestures for you to climb on her back, and you do so. She starts carrying you piggyback, and it's fun, but before you know it, she's going faster. You squeeze your eyes shut, and when you open them, you find you're not on a girl's back anymore. You're astride a black horse that's galloping deeper into the river.
This?
Yes, he did.
Oh, God. Okay,
No,
sorry.
the unicorn isn't on its back, though.
No, but
Yeah. You
way
decide
better if it was.
You decide to jump off because this is getting scary, but you can't. Your legs seem to be glued to the horse's flanks. The water is deep now, and the horse is swimming. The horse dives underwater, taking you with it. You can't breathe, and all you see is murky river water. When your lungs are bursting, you open your mouth and water rushes in. There's water all around you, no air to breathe. You thrash your arms, but your legs are stuck to the horse. Kelpie, you realize. This must be a Kelpie. That's your last thought. The unicorn waits on the riverbank. The end.
God, I hate Kelpies so much. Like me, when I find a Kelpie, first off, not getting on its back. Second off, I'm throwing hands. I'm gonna punch that horse in the face. God, I hate Kelpies. Also, Faith, I think you understand this. Even though you're definitely you do white nonsense, but not this type of white nonsense.
Yeah, I do special white nonsense.
Yeah, you're trained in the old way, so you do different type of white nonsense. Oh God. First off, don't talk to strangers, especially if they're beckoning you. Just don't.
Oh, fuck no.
If you don't know your surroundings.
They're in a pool of water? Definitely don't.
No. If they're in the woods, no. If you hear a baby in the woods, no, you didn't. Shut up.
Like I've said
I know
before,
we talked about this.
Yeah, like I've said before, like at worst you're gonna get devoured by something awful, and at best you're now stuck with a baby.
You're just stuck with a baby.
A crying
baby. Like, what
baby.
are you gonna do with a baby in the middle of nowhere?
A crying baby in the middle of nowhere.
Like, what are you gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
Be for real, what are you gonna do?
You're just standing there looking like an asshole holding a baby.
Just like, oh, it's whining because it's hungry.
And
do you have food that a baby can eat? Right now?
And then you have to call Fish and Wildlife and park rangers and be like, yo, I got a baby. No, I don't know where it came from.
I don't know. Also, it has weird yellow eyes, and whenever it looks at me, it licks its lip really weird. I don't understand what's going on. But... but yeah, I don't know. It's just don't let people beckon you into puddles of water, because okay, I forget what. God, I always forget names. But there's this one Latin or I guess South American. Yeah, it'd be South American cryptid that it's just so it's a woman, and she'd be standing somewhere. She'd be standing close to water, and from behind, she's banging. Like, holy shit, she's the hottest person you've ever seen.
Yes, because I was on that episode. I was on that episode.
She has a horse face. Ugh. A horse skull face. And whenever you go up to her, she just beckons you. And just like, don't only look at my ass, please. Don't look at anything else, please. You know, and she just pulls you along, and then you just get lost, and then she leaves you there. Yeah, don't get led anywhere. In fact, stay home. Stay home and mind your own business.
I mean,
that being said, I would probably fall for that one.
I was going to say, Smash.
Yeah, no. First off, Smash.
Smash.
Yeah.
All right. This is our last ending on this tree. By the way, we've explored all the options. So.
Okay, well, it sounds like this is the one they just needed for page count.
Yeah, pretty much. You wait a few hours before leading the unicorn out of the barn. Even in the moonlight, it is hard to see. You're really tired, so you try riding the unicorn again, but slowly this time because no one is chasing you. You are half dozing on the unicorn's back when you hear a snarl. A wolf lunges towards you. The unicorn flings you off its back just seconds before the wolf attacks it. You are frozen with fear and horror. The unicorn tries desperately to shake the wolf off its side. Your heart seems to stop as you watch the wolf tear into the flank of the unicorn. Without thinking, you turn and run while the wolf devours the unicorn. Did the unicorn sacrifice its life for you, or was it just instinct that made the unicorn throw you off its back? You're grateful and relieved to be alive, but heartsick that the unicorn is dead. You walk back to Edinburgh, crying the whole way. All you want to do is go home and forget this ever happened. The end.
Okay, Deborah. Calm down.
For a second there, I forgot that the writer's name was Deborah.
I thought of another thing. The guy that is whistling and could summon sparrows and stuff, don't take food from them. They're obviously a fae.
Yeah. Unless you want to, live in the Fae realm forever. I mean, I'm not judging.
Well, okay. Being in the Fae realm sounds great if you're Fae.
Yeah.
I would do it now just because, just look at everything. But I don't think I wouldn't be doing it happily. I'd be doing it because things suck.
Yeah.
Not because I want to. Well, I don't know. I'm not leaving feeling great about this part of the book.
Yeah,
nothing but bummers.
This side's pretty boring. The other way has two distinct branches, and one of them is really long, and it even has a ending that loops back around to another path.
Oh,
yeah, those are fun.
Oh, those are fun. We'll find out more in the next episode.
I'm hoping that they didn't be like, Deborah, we read your last book where a child exploded. You need to tone it down.
I don't know. I feel like describing a unicorn being eaten by wolves
That
feels
was
a little
pretty
worse to me.
brutal, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that side of the book. Yeah, I feel like it was just filler. It's not very exciting.
Yeah.
I feel like once we go wrangle our friend Wyatt's into this, these shenanigans, things will get a little bit crazier.
I wonder what is Wyatt the only non-shitty person from Flanders?
I feel like, yes, besides like the sorceress, the warlock's sister.
You know what? I would argue the warlock, because I feel like he just needed a friend.
Warlock was going to be my third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would argue.
The sorceress,
he was
the
acting
warlock's
out.
sister, and the warlock were actually fine. The warlock was just acting out because she...
Oh, Claire de Lune or whatever her name was?
Oh, yeah. Claire de Lune. That's a song. Whatever her name was. The old lady. She was cool, too.
Yeah, the old witch lady.
Yeah, who's definitely not...
a unicorn?
A unicorn in human
form. What if she's a unicorn?
Yeah.
Turned human.
I mean, maybe we'll learn in the next book.
Maybe.
Alright, well, that was fine. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Well, next time we'll do the other side, one of those other paths, and there'll be a lot more. There's just gonna be a lot more, because there's way more stuff on that side. Yeah, just remember, kids, don't trust anybody that tries to beckon you into, water.
Especially if you find them attractive.
Oh.
That's a fake trap.
Yeah, if they're hot.
At worse.
Oh. They'll kill you. They're gonna drown you.
Yeah, if they're ugly, maybe their personality's great. You should definitely go in.
It's probably fine.
It's probably fine. Okay.
Alright.
Bye.
This has been Turned to Your Doom. Goodbye.
Good night, Mr. the Missile.